Hi, my name is Paul Roy from Profitable Practice Pro and podcast host for the Partnership Advantage podcast. And today I am so excited to have Tonya Moffitt, CPA, with me of Merina+Co plus Co of accountants in Oregon who have done some amazing things and have taken some big leaps in changing the way their firm does business. So, Tonya, welcome.
Thanks, Paul. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it is. Just as a little backstory, I was in the middle of moving and I had sent some things to Tanya and prep for today. It ended up in her spam filter. And anyway, yesterday we got it sorted out. So we're both breathing a little bit easier here today. But what I'd like to do, Tanya, before I get going here is just sprinkle a little of who you are and why you're unique and things that go on and a bit of your backstory, if I can do that.
Perfect.
Tonya Moffitt is the managing partner of Merina+Co, where she performs and manages government audits of a firm that prides itself in offering long-term careers, a low turnover. Get that, low turnover. There's a reason for those things, and we'll talk about it. And advancement opportunities for her people and her team. Tonya started as an intern and was partner in her firm by the age of 31. So it can happen when you focus and you get things going. So during that time frame, she managed to get married, had two children in the process, and trust her team by leading and delegating and balancing professional and personal time. Tonya is responsible for training new staff. And I getting a feeling here, and you'll find that out yourself, that the reason that the retention rate of her team is so good is what you're going to learn from Tonya here in a minute. So, but she participates in the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Oregon Society of Certified Public Accountants, Portland State University coaching programs. I believe you're a professor as well at one point, and a guide to students to make transition from college to accounting, something we all need more of, more quality accountants.
100%.
And Oregon Society of CPAs, Oregon Government Finance Officers Association, and Forward Stride to Nonprofit Therapeutic Equine Program, which produces and promotes and supports quality therapeutic, rented lips, recreation services for children and adults. And just yesterday, Tanya was appointed to the Oregon Board of Accountancies. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tanya's passion is teaching and mentoring and on technical and soft skills. I love soft skills. More accountants should be paying attention to their soft skills and trust it. And
100%.
what she wants to encourage them in building new competencies to create their own legacy, both professionally and personally. There we go, Tanya.
That's a lot.
Well, you deserve that, and good things come back to good people. And we talked briefly before we came on the air about your passion for giving back and your passion for the industry. So I've got a question here I'd like to start with.
Perfect.
You touched in your introduction about Marina CPAs being very staff focused, and the firm does not provide tax compliance work. Can you imagine a CPA firm who doesn't do tax work? When did this shift take place, and how did the firm leaders move forward the current service model? Share
Yeah.
how this all happened, Tanya. The
So,
shift.
so it kind of started in a very interesting way. So we had a partner meeting, and this was about 6 years ago. We got together and we kind of um, the goal when we went into the meeting was, wouldn't it be cool if? So we all came in with our wouldn't it be cool if like sayings. And
Yes.
so I came in with, wouldn't it be cool if we didn't have busy season? And so, how do you not have busy season when you're working compliance work? It's really, really hard because there's always deadlines. And so, you're trying to get all that work done by a certain point. And at that point, we were very heavy in municipal audits. And so, I had sold the tax practice about probably 7 years ago or so. And kind of the reason that we went away from the tax work is because our attest and audit work was focused primarily on governments, and governments don't have tax returns. They actually are the ones collecting money. And so there wasn't any synergies between the tax and the audit practice that we had. And so that's why we sold off the tax practice. And then when we decided to kind of shift away from the compliance and audit work as much and go more into advisory, that's how we kind of started. And I will say, we were talking a little bit before that next day when I went into the office, I saw one of my partners and I was like, are we making the stupidest decision of our lives by like essentially getting rid of 60% of our revenue at some point?
60%.
Yeah, at that time, about 60% of our revenue was from attest audit government clients. And so, like cities, counties, special districts. And so it was a little bit scary. But then when we were talking about it, it was like, well, what if we do get rid of all this work? The worst case scenario is if we try doing more advisory work and then the clients, we don't have as many clients, then we can always go back to more advisory and audit work. It's not that hard to get in. Like, we already have the expertise and skills. It's not that hard for us to go back to what we were doing before. So I kind of look at it, and then that was the last day that I worried about it. Literally, it was one day that I was worried about it because I was like, well, I have a plan B and a plan C. So the firm does. And so I wasn't as nervous about making that shift. So
So did that also mean, Tonya, a shift in some of your staff and what their capabilities? I mean, you'd let some of your audit clients go, of course, and tax clients, but how did that impact your actual staff situation?
yeah, so we were able to pretty much retain everybody that we had. With some individuals, we had to work on maybe doing some new skill sets and learning curve. But we were able to pretty much take the people that we had and then move them and shift them to advisory. One of the things that I kind of pride myself in is that we try to talk to our team and like ask, what are the things that you like to do? And what areas do you want to work in? And so we try to like let them kind of self-direct where their career path is going to lead and have them try new things. And if they don't like it, then they don't have to do it. So like, at least we try to do that. I mean, you can't say 100% you're going to do 100% work that you like are passionate about or that you like, but we try really hard. A few years ago, we did a survey of all the types of services that we were providing, the different types of clients. And what we found from that survey is we had experience on one axis and we had like interest or like, want to do this work on the other axis. And what we found is that a couple of our service lines, people had experience in it, but they hated doing it. It was like ones and twos when we had it on a scale of 1 to 5. So we decided to just drop some of those services. And so why are we going to do this or provide this work if nobody on our team likes to do it? Like, it just doesn't make sense to do that. So we try to get the feedback from our team that helps kind of like position what their career is going to look like.
So did this shift actually bring new business to you when the focus changed? What happened? I mean, you weren't knocking on doors. Were customers and clients and government agents not knocking on your door?
So it was a little bit of a slow transition because our clients were government clients. Most of our contracts were 3 to 5 years. So when we made the shift, we in a 2 week period, I let all of our clients know that we were making this shift. So the people that we still had contracts with, it was like, okay, in 2 years, we're going to not be providing this service. In 3 years, we're not going to be providing this service to you. So it kind of let us ramp down kind of from that the test work. But what happened is most of those attest clients asked us to come back and do advisory work for them. And so because they needed help with something, because we'd go in, we'd do the audit and we'd be like, hey, here's these findings, good luck, I'll see you next year, we'll see if you got them fixed. So It was kind of a unique transition. Plus, we had a good reputation in the government market. Like you said, I am very active, and a lot of my team members are very active in different organizations. And so a lot of municipalities know who we are. We've been around for almost 40 years, our firm has. And so people know, and word got around that we weren't doing audit anymore and we were shifting towards advisory. So we had people knocking down the door. We haven't really done a lot of like advertisement or going out and seeking new clients. I mean, we've responded to a few requests for proposals, but for the most part, clients are coming to us because they have a problem and they need a solution. And there's like nobody kind of working in this space.
Well, to any of the accounting firm owners out there that are worried about getting into advisory, whether it's in the public service or in private industry, they want the help of accountants.
Mhm.
They're trusted, they're knowledgeable, and it doesn't mean, if I can just share a little bit from my experience here, is that because it's called advisory, it doesn't tell you, you're not telling your client you need to do this or you must do this. It's asking them questions. Why are you in this situation? Why is your margin this low? Had you thought about this? Had you thought about that? And then just by asking your clients those questions, their answers will come out. So don't be afraid to, accounting firm owners out there to go into advisory for fear of being taken back to the association for giving bad advice.
Yeah.
It's about asking good questions.
And I would add to that that if you are looking for that, if you have a specific niche or focus area, like let's say you work with real estate brokers or something like that,
Yes.
find out what kind of conferences they have and go and talk to them at those conferences. You don't have to be like a vendor necessarily, just go and be a participant just to learn more about that industry and what they're learning. Because if you know more, then it makes you have that much more knowledge to be able to help them.
Yeah, I've found and I learned, now having been working with accountants for 7 years, is that they struggle at the communication. And when the phone rings and they get a message, they go, "Oh, what's the client want?" And they go, "Well, pick up the phone and find out." And if they have a complaint, it's a great way to find out how you can improve your practice and how you can change things.
Yeah.
You don't need to go and hide under a rock. So,
I look at those as improvement opportunities.
yeah, exactly. Well, so in my research on your website, the state importance of work balance engagement in the community for your team members, and that you talked about a lot in our pre session here and in our email communications about empowering your team members and giving them, trusting them to do it. And how did you go about that process? And by the sounds of it, because you explained some of it in our first question on how that went, because you asked them what they wanted to do, but also um, the work life piece, hey, at 5 o'clock, I'm not on call.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, so our mission statement is focused on your wants and understanding your needs. And
Yes,
so that comes from our team first. So focusing on their wants and understanding their needs, because if we can meet those needs and focus on that, then
yeah,
we're a better team all around, the whole group. That's better for our clients. And then we also use it for our clients as well, focusing on their needs. And then same with our community. And so we use that to help kind of guide us. But one of our values for our firm is seek balance. And then I'm going to actually read the principle because I don't think I can articulate it as well. So we have our values
sure.
and then we have principles that go underneath those values. And so our principle is protect each team member's ability to establish a work schedule that is successfully integrated with the rest of their lives and expect team members to honestly and openly communicate personal boundaries, wants, and needs. And so I think that that's great because we we truly mean it, and we lead by example. So I don't want my tombstone to read best boss ever. I really don't. I want it to be that I was supportive to them, that I encouraged them, that I helped them get to the next step, whatever that next step may be. I think there's a lot of fear by owners that team members are going to leave. You're going to have team members leave. But what I've found is if you make that experience good for them, we have we have a lot of boomerang employees as well. So people that have left and went out and done something different and then have came back. Actually, two of my business partners are boomerang employees. Like they left, did something else, came back. And we just hired another managing consultant. They used to work for us several years ago and moved to the East Coast, live in Central Oregon, and then now are back working with us as well. So we have what we call these boomerang employees. I love them. We had a team member that just left for personal reasons. She's going to do a project that she really is passionate about. And she told us in her exit interview, I really want to be a part of the prestigious Boomerang Club. And I was like, well, I hope your project is successful and you don't have to come back to work for us, but I will gladly take you back if you want to come back. So I think embracing that spirit and truly meaning it, like helping them get to whatever that next level is, whether it's inside your firm or outside in another position.
I love it. And, you know, when you think about it, to expand on the boomerang thing, and I hadn't thought of using that term for staff returning, um, but it's a great, when you think about it, that, you know, you're not judging them because they left. They went off figuring this is where my path is taking me. And by goodness, I didn't realize how good it was where I was. And it leads me to another question because so many firms, and especially the smaller firms, get caught in the chicken and the egg, which is really tough on staff, is when we need this much more volume, much more work before we can hire anybody. So it's the, you know, everybody's stressed. Oh, we hire somebody and take off some of the load, but hold it now. We've got onboarding, we've got training, and it's forever a catch up, and it burns out staff members.
Yeah, one of the ways that so burnout typically happens between 3 and 7 years. Like that's what the data shows us. And so one of the things that we did to help prevent burnout in our firm is we created sabbaticals. So every team member, it doesn't matter what level you're at, every 5 years of service with the firm, you get a 1 month sabbatical. The only thing that we ask is that they tell us a year in advance when they want to take that 1 month sabbatical, because
So
that
it's a
means,
5 to 1.
yep. So, um, and then it's everybody. And so, because I will tell you, I am constantly thinking about work. I'm constantly thinking about things that I can improve for my clients, projects we're working on, things that I can do within the firm for our team. It's just, I equate it to like the tickler that's at the bottom of like news broadcasts, right? That's like running at the bottom. Like I feel like I always have that in my head that's always running. And maybe that's just me, but that's just the way my brain works. Day 2 of my sabbatical, it turned off. Like I did not think about work at all. Um, and because of the way that we set it up, we have a year in advance. We transition all of the work to other team members. We notify the clients that we're working on that we're going to be gone. As a partner, I had somebody checking my email when I was gone. But for most team members, we just put an out of office assistant on that they're not available because they're on sabbatical, or they do. And then we actually shut off their access to all of our stuff. So we remove their login so they can't get into their email. They
Oh,
can't
that's
get
priceless. I
into
love it.
work because it forces people to actually take that break. I will admit during mine, I did do like one thing because there was a contract I had to sign, but that was just because it required like a physical like thing from me. But Like, we really want people to step back, because when you take vacation, we give our team members 5 weeks vacation. We pretty much take all the federal holidays because our clients are governments. But when you take a regular vacation, your work just piles up. And when you come back, you just have 2 weeks worth of work to do you now have like a month's worth of work to do into a week,
Yeah.
like, or 3 weeks or whatever.
You work
And,
like crazy before you go, and it's all piled up when you come back. And it
and
really wasn't time off. It was just you were away for a little period.
yeah. And so with the sabbatical, you truly get away and get that disconnect from work, to help with, like, morale and that burnout.
So this is the Partnership Advantage podcast, and you've got partners.
Mhm.
And how many partners are in the firm, Tonya?
We have 4 total.
Four. And because you're the managing partner, but I think you more manage the situation than you do the people. So because they don't want to be managed, they want to be led, and they want to be given space. So how does, when you're putting a new idea together to your partner's team, or how does that work in that environment? Because it seems very collaborative, but there's still somebody has to come with the idea. It's got to be put on the table to discuss. How do you can you mind sharing a bit of that? Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah. So, I don't know how familiar you are with strength finders. Um, Myers-Briggs, like, you take
Yeah,
a test, and so one of my strengths is futuristic. So I'm always looking to the future, because you can't get somewhere if you don't have a goalpost. And
yeah.
so we do like 1 year kind of visions slash goals, and then we do like 3 years and 5 years. And so that helps for doing that strategic thinking and bringing those things and those ideas to the table. Um, and so that 5 years, if I was looking at 2025 and I'm looking at 2030, by the next year in 2026, when I'm looking at it and I'm looking at 2031, it's going to look different what that 5 year strategy is, because you're changing it, right? And you have to be willing to change it. What that goalpost does, it doesn't matter if it moves or it changes. You just have to have a vision that you're all working towards. And we do like strategic planning. We do it on a quarterly basis as a partner group. We automatically just set up the like days that we're going to do that ahead of time at the beginning of the year. And then we also have all team like strategic meetings as well, where we bring in our whole team. Our team is pretty small, but it's really important to get the voices of the entire team, because there's things that us as leaders that we don't know that we need to do. And so without getting their feedback and having an open line of communication, which we do in our one-on-ones with our team members as well, you can't ever get to that next step.
It's this is all music to my ears because I'm big on vision, and when I'm working with either business owners or accounting firm owners, and I go, well, what are you building here? What is your goal? What is it that you want to do? And they always default back to not always, most default back to their reasoning mind, and the what ifs kick in. And we're, hold it now, this is what we want to build. We need to find a way to do it. And it will come if we focus on it and trust the process.
And I think having a plan B as well, like, okay,
Yeah.
what if it doesn't work? A lot of times I think we get in a fear paralysis where we think, oh, worst case scenario. Well, if you can get past that worst case scenario and think about, okay, well, what if the worst case scenario happens, and just say it out loud, and then you can find a solution or that safety net, like having a plan B, whatever you want to call it helps reduce
Good.
that fear, because okay, well, I have another option. We can go back to the status quo. Not that we want to, but we
Yeah.
can if we have to.
Oh, It's a great question to ask, and you're an advisory firm, so you're accustomed to asking it. But I love it. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, well, we change direction, or we've got a plan B, but it's stay committed. You just adjust as you go.
Yeah.
That leads you toward the vision.
Yeah. I
Tonya,
also wouldn't I was gonna say one last thing. I would really
please.
encourage people to work on having values that you incorporate in your firm and then have the principles that go along with it. Our firm's values are embody ownership, seek balance, reach higher, prioritize people, and make waves. We use that for our goal setting. We use it for our performance evaluations because if that's what we truly stand for and what we truly want to do, that's what we use.
Love it. A great way to wrap up our session. We're at 25 minutes. It's been wonderful. Tonya, just again, the name of your firm and how people can get a hold of you, because I'm certain there are going to be accountants out there who want to talk to you about this. And that's great. That's part of why you're here. And then I'll also share on LinkedIn the your contact information in your LinkedIn as well. But please, how do they find you? And
You can find us at Merina, MERINA.com on the internet, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Tonya Moffitt, TonyaMoffitt.
wonderful. Tonya, I can't thank you enough. This has been a wonderful conversation. Advisory is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And to be speaking with somebody who has embraced it and excelled at it has been really exciting for me. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.